Gentlemen of YouTube, chat cannot wait to say hello to you. So chat, go ahead and say hello. Welcome to a best of one premiere Kaldheim Draft on MTG Arena with your host, Travis Semulin Sowers. This pack has a lot of different directions we could go. We could take Egon, whom I like. We could take Fall of the Imposter, which is pretty dang good. We could take a Gold Vein pick. We could take an Axguard Cavalry, and we could take a Struggle for Skimfar. I like all of these cards. I don't feel like Egon takes that much work to get going. But I also know I'm going to be happy to have that pick no matter what I do. Oh, man, I do feel the burn of competitive drafting, yo. It's different. I think if we were just sitting drafting a best of three for fun, I'd take Egon. But like this format wants you to be playing something aggressive and actively using Gold Vein picks to augment them. So I'd really like to do that if I can. All right, so there's no signals. We don't really know what's up yet. There's a rare missing. And this pack is kind of just a bunch of medium stuff. Like, not necessarily medium stuff, just cards that are good in their archetype, but not reasons to get into that archetype, right? Like, if you're in black-white, this is pretty good. I've tried playing with the Battershield Warrior some, and I don't care for it. Mirror Lake, I obviously like quite a bit. Sculptor of Winter can be powerful. I think I'm going to take the Firewalker. If this isn't the second best red common, it's really close. So if we get into red, I'm going to be incredibly happy to have a Firewalker. And if we don't, I'll just let it go. I've already got a colorless card. We can play in whatever we're doing. Here's another kind of conversation piece between the Axguard Armory and the Rune of Speed. But I think I like the Rune better. Ideally, we would be able to just pair red with whatever's open. But that Egon's not bad. I think too many people look at it as a 3-mana play that's not going to stick around, and that's just not what him do. Him a laying cat. Him a sitting cat. Him a sleeping cat. Him a late play, what I'm trying to get at. All right, so now it is decision time. We can entirely jump ship and take Freya, or we can take the Bounding Gold. I thought signals were messed up, but apparently there's a large number of people that think that the Michael Bay Raptor is better than Bounding Gold, which means that Bounding Gold isn't necessarily the signal I thought it was. I do not think the Michael Bay Raptor is better. But I think we take this and see what happens. I've seen pods where Freya will wheel. They feel the beginning of Signally, but again, BandGeek, if somebody thinks the Michael Bay Raptor is better than this... Marty, thank you for the resub, dude.
Big 80, big 80, big 80.
Y'all spam some Martys for Martin. Thank you very much, my friend. Alright, so the best card in this pack is probably the Reaper. I feel like we're getting the white-black signals. Yeah, it's the 1/2 flyer with first strike for 1. It happens to be like flying away from an explosion. Land? I don't think we want the land. I think we want to get in whatever's open here. Like, our incentive to be red is we've got a Firewalker and a Rune of Speed. I don't need those. Thank you so much, Morton. Merci. Alright, we got us a Divine Gambit here. And I think we found our lane and it's black-white. It just makes me kind of sad that we had to pass a Freya to do it. I really hope that comes back. Because I think black-white is what is open to us. I typically like Akoma's Faithful in these decks, but I also typically like a Raven Wings. Just wheel the Freya? I'd very much like to. Marty was one of the original subscribers here. I think he subscribed almost as soon as I got a a sub button. Because I can't remember exactly how long I've been a partner. All right, so if we're black-white, I could probably use this dude. What's our curve starting to look like? It's starting to look like I don't really have enough creatures to get going here, so this is not a bad one to pick up. Presumably I can find a few snowlands, and this guy's okay. It's also possible we still end up in red-white or red-black. That's why I'm leaving these cards here. I just don't exactly know what direction we're supposed to be going. Because now, all of a sudden, I'm starting to get interested in that Craven Hulk, and here's where things get weird, right? Because at least half the people that draft don't think Divine Gambit's any good, and that's because they're wrong and bad at Magic and not smart and handsome like me. So if they don't think they're sending me a signal when they pass me a Divine Gambit, then I kind of have to just let that go. So now all of a sudden I'm thinking we're supposed to be red-black, and I want this Craven Hulk. Now the clearest signal is that nobody wanted that Fall of the Imposter. The actual signal for our color pair would be the Freya Wheeling. If that happens, okay, cool, we'll play white-black. If it doesn't, I'll probably play black-red at this point. This is a reasonable hedge for me. Because it's the next pack that should have the Freya if nobody wants it. And it's not that I haven't played this, it's just that it's not the 5-drop I want. Okie dokie. That's an interesting one. So what if we weren't black at all? Because currently I can get my choice of 2 equipments, a rune, or a bounding gold. So I think this is the pack that would have the Freya. I can't imagine it's still here. But now all of a sudden, something like this is starting to look like a deck. It's starting to look like a deck that's missing a lot of pieces. That's fair, but we could find them. Mardu for what? Like, I don't need any of these cards. They're not a reason to be playing the color pair. I might main deck a Shackles. Like, we have some black cards, but you don't have to play them. There's a lot of draft left. Scald. Scald currently doesn't do much, but that doesn't mean he won't. I could also take this to hedge back into black. Like, there's still an argument that we could be, like, playing black cards. It's all up in the air right now. It takes some work for the Master Scald to do anything in an aggressive deck. But if they blow up your equipment, half the time they're doing it with a Mass Vandal anyway, and you can't get it back. Enough runes can make it sort of do something, but if you're putting them on equipments, they're not likely to go to the graveyard. Where did that thing go? I want it not here. Just go away. All right, so again, decision time. Battle for Bredegard's really good. We could take that and try to splash it. I've had some fun with that in multicolor decks, but I don't think we're currently positioned to maximize it. If we want to commit to red, we could take this Tormentor's Helm and have all the equipment we'll ever need. I think I like the Helm. I think that's enough reason for me to be playing red. And I think that's enough equipments. So right now we're just red. We don't know what other color we are. It's probably white or black. It's certainly going to be playing a Liberator. Let's see what other color opens up here. Things we'd be looking for to move us would be like a Death Knell Berserker. I'd be pretty interested in. A rune of pretty much any color would have me interested. Because generally speaking, I want 3 to 4 equipments in this deck, a bunch of good creatures, and a removal spell or 2 if I can get them. If not, you can just play combat tricks. I'd also like to maximize 2 drops. Speaking of maximizing 2-drops, this is not a bad way to do that. We've already got 1 dwarf. We can probably get some more. So come on in, Magda. So now we can kind of just coast red until we see what starts wheeling. Me too, Goose. I think that Demon Bolt is the 4th best red common. I think that the Helm, the Firewalker, and Run Amok are all better. And that's the order I have them in. Because I don't care if I don't have any Demon Bolts. But I definitely want to have Helms, Firewalkers, and Run Amoks. If I'm doing this strategy. I have somewhat jokingly said that Run Amok is the best removal spell in the game, but it sure does feel like that. Could you get enough playables to go mono? Incredibly unlikely. You could, but you probably won't. So this Valkyrie has me interested in thinking about the white. Because we would get Bound in Gold, we would get Divine Gambit, there's the 2 removal spells I was looking for. We get Axgard Armory as a divination. We could conceivably play the Scald, and now I've got a decent flyer. It's not necessarily new, Snus. It's something that we talked about after a reevaluation. Not only is it tempting, I am taking it. I can still move if we get past to Feed the Serpent or something, but I ain't looking to. Removal either needs to be incredibly efficient or get you have potential to get you a 2-for-1 for me to be particularly interested in it. Oh. Champion looks okay here. I'm not incredibly excited by it, but it looks okay. How many whats would I take? I don't always want to play the pup in a deck like this. I will sometimes play the pup in a deck like this. Run Amoks, I've played as many as 3. I think I like Hoggy Mob here. Yeah, where we're going, I need creatures, and this is really the only one I have the option to take here. And it still gives me the option to back into black if I need to. Spectral Steel is actually pretty okay. That would lead me to wanting Michael Bay Raptors and Pops. Yeah, exactly, Chugum. If you're doing it right, it doesn't matter. I could also take Wings of the Cosmos for my combat trick, which is not a terrible one. But I don't have enough creatures. We're going to have to start taking Pops. Frack. This is quite something with a Hoggy Mob. Yeah, the Cavalry's real good with Magda, and I'm interested in that. The question is, do I want to take this and just ditch out? I wish the Cavalry wasn't here so I didn't have to make this decision. But I think we've got enough established in white that we should just play it. Second Craven Hulk is tempting. But I think I'm going to go with the Axe Braggart. It kind of has its own equipment on it. Okie dokie. I don't think we're going to want a Warhorn Blast. I also don't think we're going to want a Code Spell Cleric, but we could. Another Gold Maul champion is very welcome, and this is starting to turn into a deck. All right. So I'm probably still realistically not looking to play the pups, but we can. Oh, I was going to say this pack's a bit of a blank, but I don't mind getting another Valkyrie. It's probably about as much top end as we'll need, but it's certainly not bad. And like if I just put the 2 pups and like a Shackles of Treachery in here, this is a deck. I wouldn't mind one more equipment. But I guess with 2 ways to search them up, I can't be too upset about it. I've said a couple times I don't really care if this deck has a Demon Bolt or not, but there's literally nothing else here for me. And my creature count's mostly fine. Because again, I can just play these pops, so sure, we'll play. It's not like I won't play them. It's just that I don't feel like I need them. Jimmy sent me something for a thing. I want to look at that. Huh. Do I want the second Bounding Gold or the first Starnheim Courser? I think I want the Bounding Gold here. This takes care of a lot of problematic permanents. Dwarven reinforcements may be what we're after. Because I still need a few bodies, and dwarves are certainly welcome. Can we get like 2 Story Seekers and call it? Because that seems pretty good to me. I'm enjoying it too. Oh, Axguard Cavalry is nice. Like, I gotta look at this a little later. I can't do so many things at once. When I was just playing best of 3... Hey, Hunter, thanks for the gift sub, man. Y'all spam some cats for a Hunter. It kind of didn't matter to me if I won a particular match or not. I was worried about my win percentage overall. And this, because other people are taking it seriously and there is a goal in mind, which is to be rank 1, leaves me with, I have to treat every match as if it's very important, which can be somewhat exhausting, frankly, but also leaves you with this benefit of like, I feel like I'm playing competitive Magic. And it does lead to things like I'm mulliganing more often than I thought I would be, which is very different. I don't think I'm likely to play much of this. What's our creature count at? 12? I'm probably just going to play some number of pops, but I could sort of see sadly playing this. Shepherd of the Cosmos is going right in. That can get me back a Helm, a Rune of Speed, a Pick, Wings if they end up there, or any of these. This is quite nice. I don't like the Raptor and don't particularly want to play it, although I admit that it can work in some strategies. Second Rune of Speed seems fine to me. Yeah, so here's the thing. The math says don't mulligan. I recently said I should probably start, go back and redo my podcast. Here I'm thinking about Iron Verdict for the sideboard. I'm at 13 creatures. What if we play 1 pop and the Iron Verdict and call it a deck? I can't go to 15 lands, though. I could maybe cut the Braggart or the Hulk. I want to talk about this in a second, Hunter. I just can't think and pick these cards. What's up, Nelson? Take that for the sideboard. Sure. It can be, but you'd have to have something to do with the extra mana that's left over. I think it has a place in this deck, but I don't think I'm going nuts over it. So, like, the original reasoning for me saying we should mulligan less, this is best of 1, is the math does say that when you mulligan, you're less likely to win. However, that strategy changes when I'm playing in a tournament, right? Like, you guys may remember in the recent Sweatsuit Invitational, I won with a Mold of 5 against Kenji. I had to. If we're just sitting here playing in a regular best of 3 game, from my perspective, if we're looking to maximize our gem count and the number of wins we get over time, then this game I'm playing right now doesn't matter. What matters is the averages over a year, right? So in that case, you should basically never mulligan, because the math works out to, generally speaking, you're going to win more games if you don't mulligan. Okay? However, in a tournament, it's very different, because you have to win this game or you're done. And what I'm recognizing as I'm playing more best of 1 is that this is essentially like a big tournament, and you have to treat every match as in, I have to win this game, right? That's also true, real men. However, generally speaking, I don't try to go for those strategies very often, right? Like, that's why I don't like cards like the Battlefield Raptor and the Fearless Pop. It's not that you can't get wins with them, it's that I generally don't want to play the style of deck that's trying to get wins with them. So I think I'm pretty happy going with 16 lands here, and the question is, what would we like to cut? I think with 2 Bounding Golds, a Demon Bolt, and an Iron Verdict, I don't need Divine Gambit. I also realistically don't think I need Iron Verdict. Like, here's 3 solid removal spells, 2 of which I can fetch. We're good to go. Creature count is a little high, but I do like all of the top end. So do we have enough equipments to make this Raptor actually into a threat? It certainly could be with the pick. It doesn't play very nicely with the wings, but it does with the helm. I think the 1-drops have a spot, which may make something like the Hulk just the odd man out. Like, we could cut this, sort out our lands, and I think we've got something here. Because this would just let me go 8/8. So I think I'm pretty happy playing this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready to party. All right, and it looks like we got us one of them Stream Raiders battles to do too. Let's get that going. Yep, been pretty happy with these curses. They seem to do work. And might be in the Dungeons and Dragons set, which I'm pretty freaking excited about, yo. Ah. Me too, Jacques. Me too. I don't know that Dritz could be a Planeswalker, right? Like, maybe Elminster? Passy Dave with the kills, Ethan with the assist. Rewards for Laramethus, Yak, Scarope, and Queenfort. Yeah, they got some Warlocks. We get more treasure if we go this way, so let's go for the treasure. All right, I will tank. You will spank. And let's see if we got us a deck here. We might. I don't think we're going to see Planeswalkers we know there, because I don't think what they're trying to do is mix the peanut butter and chocolate. Because I think they've said that, like, the D&D set is not canon part of the Magic world. It's just a D&D set using Magic rules. Because I remember some sort of announcement about that when we were looking at the Realms Beyond posts. They say have potential. Not happy potential, but the potential. Could use more land. It is going to be standard legal, yes. And that Usher the Fallen has been a thorn in my side lately. Every time I got somebody going first on the other side, they has one. I don't care for it. We don't know how corsetti it's actually going to be, because in the past they've gotten rid of corsets entirely. Man, I feel like we're already dead. I don't much care for that. So if we weren't dead, what would that start to look like? It would probably look like Courser this turn, take a hit. Next turn, Rune Helm. Have a little bit of mana left over. Maybe be able to play the Dwarf and equip, something like that. It's like we're not able to block this. But something like a Demon Bolt into a Bounding Gold could start to work. This is not particularly helpful. And yet it is the world we're living in. Yeah, I suspect this is game over, man. But this does illustrate some of my complaints with Best of One, is like, if you've got an aggro deck against another aggro deck, if they're able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, they're probably going to kill you. It's not entirely the type of Magic I like to play, but when you're getting into competition, it kind of doesn't matter if it's what you like or not. What matters is what's effective. We could take 7 damage by blocking this, and then somehow expect to stabilize. Yeah, we would love to have had Story Seekers and Runes of Sustenance and just never got them. I'm trying to think of what sort of outs we actually have here, and I'm not convinced there are any. Yeah, I really don't think there are. Well, it probably seems like you're getting paired against the mirror because red-white is the most popular deck in the format. Yeah, I don't think this is good. Like, if we're trying to block, this is just not going to work. So that one's done. Dunzo. Yeah, the Courser is not great. I don't really want to be playing the Courser in this deck, but I kind of don't have room for... I kind of didn't have anything else to play. Hey, what's up, Echo? GG's. Oh, no worries, bud. That was a pretty good opening. Good luck to you as well. Yeah, we don't have good openings, it would seem, but we are at least on the play. Well, no 3-drop creature helps you much there, right? But a Story Seeker would have gone a long way in this deck. We're probably going Gold Maw into Firewalker. I guess we can go ahead and get this suspended, but I don't feel like it does a whole lot just yet. Because it's a huge investment to get this going. Where were you last turn, you jerk? Alright, we'll just play the Firewalker then. Reckon we go fish for a land? I suppose it depends on whether we draw one or not. I could also consider Demon Bolting that, but I think I'd like to go fish for a land. Oh, it's on a Saturday. May 15th. Man, reading's hard. We hit a land. That's not bad. But with any luck, they kill my Liberator and we can play the champion and be stable adjacent. Coach me, brethren. Ever get to feeling you're in danger? Because I kind of feel like I might be in danger. I haven't really been keeping track of that so much since we've been doing ranked. But we're good. I was going to say Bounding Gold would be a pretty nice draw. Because while it doesn't take care of the pick, it does take care of the Raptor with the Spectral Herpaderp on it. I'm somewhat curious as to what they're holding. Because I'd assumed it might be a Jarl, but if they had one, I think you'd flash it in there and trade it with the Firewalker. Maybe you wouldn't. Let's go fish and see if we can hit another land. Still might get us closer to the next land. You have an appointment with Doom. Again, I like to fish. Yeah, I mean, it's Schrodinger's card, right? Like, both of those times, if there'd been a land in play, we'd have been pretty happy about it. But there wasn't. And it's okay. Sure, kill him. We got more where that came from. I still like to fish. I can't stop myself. Keep this one for chump blocking purposes. Probably just for a turn. If that raptor ever gets loose, we in trouble, but there ain't a whole lot in that color pair that can get it loose, unless people be invoking, main decking Invoke the Divines. Okay, we said we were playing this for chump blocking purposes, so let's go. There has been much winter crowning, yes. Or wither crowned. Technically triple wither crowned. Oh, we've been had. We tap the cleric swing team, what happens? They trade off Magda, they trade that for that, they take 5. That seems pretty good to me. Like they have to end up blocking here and here. How many treasures do I need to get a thing? 5, so not quite enough. That blog's not going to work. You can't kill Magda. They could stay alive, though. I guess they just didn't want to. Hi-ho. Wither Crown is not a card I have been excited to play very often. I think it's made its way into a couple decks, but it's not one that I'm like, we gotta play. Or even one that I really want to play. That's pretty great, Neil. Me. I'm Michael Bayraptor, look at me. Best of one sideboard will be restricted to 7 cards. What? Why? To prevent you from putting lessons in? That seems stupid. Alright, I guess we bind then. I can always go get another one if I need it. I don't believe it. There is no way. Nil, that's just crazy. Well, maybe for standard. I could believe maybe they play tested it for standard. So what I want to do is go get a bounding gold. So I think I'm going to do that. I want a pick or a helm. I know I want the bounding gold. Pick seems a little good. But like the problem is I can't really play it next turn. Whereas I can play the helm. Because we're going to play the Shepherd and get it back, and then use that to get whatever I don't get. Because the Shepherd can get back a land. We could even bound and gold that replicating ring if we wanted to. Still seems weird to me. You know what I mean? Just takes some getting used to is all I mean. You don't need that. I think I'm happy enough to leave this. There's some 3 damage effects. Not a lot of them, but some. If you want to kill Magda or my burb, you go ahead. Will that be the case for limited as well? Okay. That's pretty good. I wish I had saved my bounding golds, because I don't think I actually have a way to get through that. Well, there kind of is a way to get through it, isn't there? Yeah, that's about all I got, is to try to tap it with Mr. Boasty Dwarf and then use the Demon Bolt to keep him alive and try to do it again. Which I think we'll go for. There was one in Eldraine. Here, I'll give you the counter for you. There's a booger fairy. They should probably double block this, but I hope they don't. What? I like this attack. I like this attack a lot. I can kill them. Right. No, you should definitely send the Predator. You should definitely send the Predator. I would send the Predator if I were you. It's a really good call. You should send it. You should send that Predator. This is me taking 6, 7, 8, going to 10. This may be all Magda's good for now. This is so close to being able to kill them. Oh, blah. Okay, never mind. It is no longer close to being able to kill them. It's pretty far away from being able to kill them. Horser with the helm don't do nothing here, because they just block it and then sacrifice something stupid. I think we just dead, boys and girls. I don't want to be dead. But I guess we have to see if there's some way I can chump and survive and hope to find lethal next turn. Because I will have a flying hasty haggy mob they don't expect, but I don't think that's going to be good enough. Because I reckon we're going to have to chump block with the Courser. And presumably the champion too. Merfolk Secret Keeper got abused. That's why I quit playing Magic for 6 months. Please just mindlessly swing. Thank you. Bring them all. Because I think I can beat this attack. I can beat this attack with a land. Oh, darn it. Why you gotta be like that? Actually, I can beat this attack. They had, I guess they have something. This wins, right? I take 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to 3. So they've got a combat trick or I win. A combat trick or a flyer, I suppose. All right, show me. Okie dokie. Sometimes you get there. I did not think we were winning that. And then we did. All right, I'm going to fire up the Stream Raiders battle, take a quick potty break, and then rejoin you. So y'all enjoy the battle. I'll be right back. Thank you for your patience. We have Yak with the kills, Techno Shaman with the assists. Rewards for Yak, Lovecraft, Snus, Jank, Shank, and MTG. Lego. Let's go steal another car, I guess. Seems good. I'll shoot the corn dogs. Y'all defend me. Yeah, I found myself winning a lot of games based off of combat math. And I've done it against like experienced and good players. For like just taking a second to observe the board state and think about combat math, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I can win. That team draft we did a while back, I think the only games I won were ones where I was like figured out the combat math. All right, let's talk. Yeah, they used to make me panic rush too. I've had to be pretty careful about that. That's really weird. Why wouldn't I just do this? They're getting big fast. I don't like that card. I don't think it does enough. I'm supposed to chump that, right? I think I am. I mean, if you have snow manas. What if you don't have snow manas? I mean, apparently that's not a problem for our opponent. They've got infinite snow mana, but I could see a world where you have this in your hand and you're like, huh, I don't have a board. That seems bad, yo. So is this lethal? 7. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is lethal, so I have to block something. I think I can win with a 2-drop. I think I'm probably dead without one. I can certainly win with a 2-drop, and I got 2 draws at it. A land, yeah, a land could conceivably do it too, if they don't have a blocker. I guess a cheap creature or a land is not good enough. That's incredibly awkward. Is my best line here to play out the Axe Braggart to chump this, play out the Helm, and then get a redraw next turn for Rune of Speed on this? I think it might be. Because I could play the Rune of Speed hoping to hit a land, but they've got lethal. Now, they're still going to kill me with a removal spell or whatever. There's probably nothing I can do about that. But I think this is our best line. Because it's kind of going to need the flying in order to work. Well, that may just kill me. Which means I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I'd say that's lethal a couple times over. We had a shot there. If we knew we were dead the following turn, I think it would be reasonable to cast the Rune of Speed on the wings and see if we can hit one of the 2/1 drops. Seeing that we didn't know we were dead, I think it's reasonable to try to play for another turn. One of those times where I'm glad you can't look at the top card of your library, because I think I'd have been just incredibly disappointed if I looked and it was a 1-drop. Because we could have played specifically for the Raptor. All right, let's talk. Is the situation different next turn if we live? Yes, I've got 2 draws, right? Because if I play out the rune on the bird wings, I have to draw specifically a 1-drop to be able to play it and equip it. There's only 2 1-drops in the deck. If I wait until the next turn, I could play it potentially, like I get 2 draws at a 2-drop or a 1-drop, or land into one of those. Now, I'd still go for it if we knew like if we were dead on board, I'm obviously going to go for it. But if we're like not knowing that we're dead on board there, I think leaves us in a bit of a different scenario. I don't think I even want to play around with that thing. Like, just, no thanks, we're not doing it. You're not attacking me with that. I don't want to deal with it. A lot of 2-drops I wouldn't care about. That one can get out of hand way too quickly. Okay, so with land, I can go Helm, equip, attack, pacify end of turn. I think I might like to pacify the Packmate. It makes me a little nervous about them just ramping into a Linda, but we'll have another pacifism off of the Axguard Armory, and then can return it with the Shepherd and kind of do the whole thing over again. But I think this is just easier to get through, but it might be a little crazy here. Yeah, I think this is probably the right call. That thing's pretty good too. I don't know that I have enough mana to get through that. Because I can pop this and get, this is what, 4? So I could pop this and get the other pacifism, but I can't really do anything with it right now. So I suppose that means we're just taking a big hit here. Because I can block. Probably need to go ahead and suspend this too, eh? So next turn we would bind in gold, and if we hit a land, play this. If we don't, play the wings. Because we're about to take a lot of damage. I don't know if this is necessarily a bomb alert. like, it's functionally a hasty air elemental, which is pretty good. But it's certainly, like, dancing through that territory. Why would you put it there? Oh, because you're going to fight my dude and then kill me. That makes some sense now that we think that through. The land's pretty good. It gets both. So, like, you can get bounding golds and stuff. This was a little bit of a sad ending for this deck, as I feel that it did have more potential. I didn't quite have enough 2-drops, but I sort of thought I was making up for it by playing the 1-drops. But sometimes that's just how these things go. Like, looking back, I don't think it looks that bad. But it also wasn't incredibly streamlined. Like, I think ideally I would have wanted like a Rune of Sustenance here. And I'm still curious what it would have been like if we tried to go into the black-white deck instead, which I think was a possibility because we were seeing some reasonable black pieces relatively early. I think the real tough part was when we passed the Freya, and I can't quite remember what I took for it. I think it was a bound in gold, which I kind of think makes sense. But as it worked out, it ended up not being actively good for us. So YouTubers, thank you for watching. Sorry I couldn't get you a win, but come by the stream sometime. We get them every now and then at www.twitch.tv/Semulin chat. Say goodbye to YouTube.